The season hasn't even started, but we're talking bracketology in wrestling, not college b-ball. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlog who always tells it like it is. Much better. Though I'm still a bit bummed that Mr. Iguana has yet to win an NXT or WWE event. Maybe at Gold Rush? Who knows? Though I do want to know which titles from NXT, AAA, Evolve, and TNA will be on the line those Tuesdays before Thanksgiving. Anyway, we have finally figured out who is going to be John Cena's final opponent. Well, not exactly who it is right now, but an idea of who it could be anyway. Sort of a concept of a plan, if you will, to quote a certain POTUS. Anyhow, Cena's final opponent will be determined via a 16-man single elimination tournament. And I must say it is refreshing to have something like this happen again. Now, I know what you're going to say, but Wolvie, the WWE has tournaments all the time. I mean, what's the big dealio about this one? First of all, who the hell says dealio anymore? And second of all, while it's true that many of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments have been one-on-one, the last time veered away from that. They had triple threat matches in the third round, leading to one-on-ones for the semis and the finals. But, truth be told, I've always been fascinated by elimination tournaments in wrestling, and in sports in general, actually. Trying to work out who would face whom through each round of matches or series or what have you. It's just something that I really liked. When the playoffs of each major sport comes around, I'd usually make a bracket on my computer and look through them like I was placing the ultimate parlay bet, trying to figure out who will come out on top in the most scenarios. And considering there are 2 to the 63rd combos in the NCAA basketball tournament, that's a lot of scenarios to go through. My first elimination tournament from wrestling was when my dad took my brother and I to see WrestleMania 4 via closed-circuit TV at the Nassau Coliseum. They had huge screens that could be seen clearly all around the arena. They were deciding who would be the next WWE champion after a controversial match on live TV vacated the title. And at the end of a 14-man tournament, Randy Macho Man Savage went through 4 men, including 2 who won buys, to win the title. Even my dad was impressed. He liked seeing Savage and Elizabeth in different colors for each match. Since then, there's been numerous tournaments for vacant titles, and even a few to find out who would challenge for said title. And I always kept track of them. Hell, in the days of bulletin board systems on the internet, I would post odds on each King of the Ring pairing. All 28 possibilities in the 8-man one-night tourney. Now, technically there were 16-man tourneys, but the preliminary matches would always be on Raw, and that seems to be the formula currently used. The last one-night tourney was in Saudi Arabia before the pandemic, as far as I know. I would much rather have a one-night tourney, kind of like the original UFC cards way back when. But as long as it's a tournament, and it was a single elimination, I was all for it. So, you know, it kind of makes sense that Cena's last opponent on December 13th on the last Saturday night's main event of the year would be determined via a tournament. Now, according to Cena, the opponents will be selected at random from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and maybe 1 or 2 TNA or AAA wrestlers for good measure. He said some he has worked with before, while others, like Carmelo Hayes, Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Gunther, and Bronson Reed, he never had a one-on-one match with. Considering rumors had been flying about Gunther returning to the ring to face Cena in a few weeks before this tourney was announced, chances are he's the odd-on favorite, if he's in it. But it all really depends on who's actually in the tourney. And given that we probably won't know until this Monday at the earliest, and next Monday when the tourney starts at the latest, this is like deep thought saying philosophers could rake in the money for 7.5 million years while guessing what the answer to life, the universe, and everything will be. Everyone will be wondering who out of the around 100 wrestlers from across the new WWE Pantheon will make the Sweet 16. And then they'll wonder who will stand tall at the end, and more importantly, if they can beat the so-called last real champion and send him back to Hollywood with an L bigger than the 2 on the sign over there. Weirdest of all, this is not for any title or a push or anything like that. These 16 men, whosoever they may be, will simply be battling to be Cena's last opponent. To send away a for certain 2026 Hall of Famer, win or lose, is quite the feather in their cap. And if they take the opportunity as seriously as they would if there were a title, the tournament itself would be quite the spectacle. So good on you, Cena. You'll only be able to prep for your last foe for a few weeks tops, and for once, I agree with the decision concerning you. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling blog who always tells it like it is. Pray for peace, and I'll see you